Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the last Epoch dev stream. I am your host, Mike. Let's hop right in. Glad to have you with us, and we're coming in hot right off the bat with a raiding party from Lone Star McFluffin. 14 people, what? Welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. Hi, Llama. Hello, everyone. Hello, Singing Games TV. Alright, so if you missed us last time or any other time before that, we are rocking a Necromancer. We're doing skellies and zombies, going boom. Our gear's kind of mediocre at best, but we're working on it. What am I doing here? A little view of what our stats look like a little bit here. Nothing amazing, but it makes for fun gameplay. A quick peek at our skills here, just so people can see what we're rocking with. I know I had a couple requests after the stream last time that people wanted to see what the skills were, so I'm just gonna go through it real quick so people can see what's going on. So that's our build. You can pause it and look at those. I'm not gonna sit there and go through each one of them. Yeah, so we are attempting to complete the Reign of Dragons timeline, which we are fully. We're just diving into the quests, and we're gonna go right for that dragon kill. If this is your first time here, we stream for charity. So this is our charity this month, all month long. American Federation for Suicide Prevention Foundation. I can never remember if it's Federation or Foundation. I'm sorry. And yeah, this is our monthly goal for it. Any donations, everything, all the money goes directly to them.
Eterra's grace be with you.
Starting off with the Grim Reaper TV, use 10 bits. Foundation. Foundation, there we go. Yes. He's very clear there. Thank you for getting the right name for me. Appreciate that. Federation just seems so cool, I guess. Could be their secret second name. Yeah, and so we're gonna play through some early middle end game, I guess we're at this point, and I guess early still, and answer some questions. So if you have questions, toss me an @ and I will do my best to answer them, while not dying too many times. Because let's be real here. Probably going to die at some point. That's not a bad belt base. Not bad boot base either. Not great. I'm really looking for stuff to craft on right now, because when we started this, it was like we just started right at the start of the Monolith, and all of our gear was crafted from white items, so they were all like straight T3s across the board and really bad crafting chances on them. So I didn't really get much in the way of crafting upgrades right off the bat. We had a few lucky runs though. It was pretty good. Not sure why I'm looking at all these. I feel like we do have our loot filters set up. Yeah, it's there. Stuff I should really be looking at will be this light purple color. And if you see me ignoring shards, it's because there's a bajillion of them on this account. We've got 72,000 shards. But I will pick them up out of habit sometimes. Unethical streamer, yeah. This account's just really old. I definitely didn't use anything. This is why I was running solo before. I could have just turned this character into a solo character. then I'd have nothing. That's right. Scared little spreading frost running to the corner. It's like a children's nursery rhyme in there somewhere. Got a relic, Tome of Elements, real low level Viper Tail. Not great for our build, but you know, they're fun. Boom! Tear down this wall. Injured dragon. Oh, fear kicked in. Nice. He didn't even get an attack off.
What brings you here?
That's good stuff. Alright. First quest timeline down. Let me know if you're hearing a bunch of like buzzing in the background. I hope not. There's a fan going. Try to keep it low. We've got 100 bits from Yavar69. Thank you very much, buddy. Glad to have you with us. Is this the one that we did? Yeah, this is it. Volatile Zombie VZ. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. I'll look through those items at some point. There's got to be some good stuff in there, you know. Andrew Tilly, hey Mike, how's the spell effects auto pooling system been progressing? It's coming along good still. Not quite ready. Oh yeah, this fight, I remember this. It's been forever since I've done this fight. Let's get come on, pop, pop, pop. Woo! Spicy. That's right, target the sky. Ooh, spicy! Yeah, it is spicy. There we go. One down. Two down. This one's just gonna crumble. Pop, pop, pop. Rip blood damage. Love it. Love those wave effects. To be fair, that dragon has like 1 hit point if it dies if you fart in its general direction. So I got a notification from the sound alerts thing saying it wasn't working. When Judd played the Oh Spicy, did everyone else hear it too? Because I heard it. Hey mate, please give us... yeah, okay, sweet. Please give us some good news. We're waiting for the new patch so long when it comes... I mean, we haven't been waiting that long for the new patch. It's been a reasonable amount of time, I feel. But we're working hard on it. It should be... it'll be a bit still, I think. You know, there's a lot of really good stuff in it. A lot of really good stuff in it, especially some new story content. Stay in there, guys. You can handle it. I'm sure I could too, but I'm not sure. Let's bump up some of this damage. Get a Dread Shade or 2 out. My zombies are better than your zombies, buddy. When 2 exploding zombies try to explode on each other, who wins? Thanks for the shout out, server. I know you guys can't see it behind my chat or behind my picture. Server's giving me shout outs in chat. No, stay in there, guys. You can tank it. I promise. Mostly. And if you can't, I'll just summon your... Ooh, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you don't take your hand off the keyboard. Boom, boom. That was easy. Easy. All res, yeah. I don't think we care about minion all res as much. It's just all res. It'll alleviate some of that burden on our gear, and we can put some other cool stuff on. Symbol of Demise. It's a pretty cool one. Yeah, we don't care about the increased physical damage, do we? At all. It's got 2 prefixes that aren't run walk. Virtual freedom. Question. Hey Mike, after buying this game last week, I found it to be pretty great. Thanks. Glad you like it. Marksman, on the other hand, is not so great. What are the plans for Marksman in its current state? Well, personally, I really like the Marksman. You might be having some targeting issues. Would be likely what I'd say is the problem. There's a bug in some of the ranged abilities and how they target. That you might be struggling with. If there's specific things that you think you'd like to change on it, it's good to talk about. I don't have any major changes personally that I'd immediately go for. Oh, I guess I could check which timeline should we go for first. We've got Herat, the Shaman dudes. Lizard coming to the raiding party of 45. Welcome, everybody. One person saying go Herat. If you care which one I do, tell me right now and I'll go to that one. Haha. We're going to Herat. Which I'm pretty sure is this one. Yeah, it's this one. The Age of Winter. That's the first time I've seen a starting piece only go 2 directions. That's interesting. Yeah, sorry, I was answering a question about Marksman. I don't think there's any major problems with Marksman. I think it's got some really cool abilities. And we've got some more skills planned for it. It's weird. So Rogue in general, I think, feels really good. And I think that especially Blade Dancer feels so good that by comparison, it actually makes Marksman feel worse. And I think that if Blade Dancer didn't feel so good, Marksman would actually feel better. There's also a weird thing that's, even though Rogue in general feels really good, it does have the fewest skills available by a pretty big margin. It just doesn't have a ton of duds. I'm just like going the wrong way completely. It just doesn't have a lot of duds. So I think that, and by duds I mean skills with no trees or skills with really old trees, because it didn't exist really old time. Relative really old. So I think there's less choice available, which is something that will come with just adding more skills to it. Right now we're focusing on this patch will be a lot of focus on Sentinel for new skills and hard reworks of skills. There are a good chunk of other skills that are getting minor changes or moderate changes, but there's quite a few Sentinel skills that are getting like hard reworks, like delete the tree. Oh, we'll keep that one node. You know? I think we may have kept more than one node in the ones we redid. There's some nodes that just like Even if you don't intentionally keep them, you effectively keep them by just, you know, chance. What level am I? I am 8 levels under here. I'd probably level faster if I went to an easier zone. That's okay. Someone asked for time for Mike and the Epoch tell a lie. Yeah, that was good last week. I was surprised with what people picked for what they wanted to see the most. We've got TNY has gifted a tier 1 sub to Vision GL. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. I was really surprised last week with what people wanted. Of the five things I said, which one they wanted to be true the most. Okay, let's get a ring here. We've got another gifted sub, TMY to Lizard IRL. Lizard, what the heck? You weren't subbed already? Ah, makes sense. Just kidding. Thank you very much, TMY, for the gifts. Yeah, so, Reimer already answered this question, but I'll say it out loud. It's okay. Are any Sentinel stances going to be removed from the game? Really liking Juggernaut stance. Yes. The stances are nice to have, but building full customized skill trees from them was not working well. And so instead of trying to force something that just wasn't quite working, we are reworking that system. Healing effectiveness, we don't need that either, do we? Bye-bye. Wonder where that's showing up. I must have done something wrong in the tree. In the tree, the loot filter. Because that should not be showing up. That one does have implicits that we really like, so maybe it's checking implicits too? I don't think it did that. I'll just go in there and increase healing effectiveness. This is just one of the options that I've ticked. And the only problem with Dreadshade though is it just dumpsters my mana. Feels that way anyways. It's only 14. It does not do much to my mana. It's 13. I guess just it uses quicker or something. We got another gifted sub to Reimer Hearts. Gifting subs to the mods. Love it. Love it. Thank you. What if we did add trees to loot filters? Anything, 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 anything. That's not bad. We don't really use endurance at all, though. There's mini necrotic damage. Yeah. Yeah. Dump a few of these things. Come back to them later. Ooh, set piece. Why not? Reimer, it was TNY for the sub gift. Yeah, this is something we were talking about recently, how the arena waves, like I did not realize this was an arena until I teleported over there. And it's difficult to know that you're in an arena right away. So we're talking about changes there. We don't have an exact date on next patch. I guessed last week at when I thought it was going to be, and I'm probably fairly close, but I really want to be clear this is not an announcement of the date at all. And I roughly think that it's likely, judging based on the timelines of previous patches, going to be somewhere in the range of approximately near the end of August. Put every single conditional I could put on there. I want to thank Last Epoch Game devs for making this amazing game. You're welcome. I've searched for about 2 years for a decent game that is not PoE. Thank you. Oh yeah, we appreciate you playing our game and glad you're having fun. Yeah, guys. Yeah, we haven't actually set a date internally yet, so it's impossible for me to know when a date's gonna be. Not holding back on you, I promise. Blade of the Forgotten Knight. I was right before the stream started, I was freaking out because I went to open Steam and I'm like, oh no, it's on the multiplayer branch. Switch over really quickly in like 5 minutes before the stream. So happy I got fast internet recently. I don't even know why I'm looking at that. I guess I can shatter that actually. Do I care? Minion melee damage. Shatter because we can. Frozen tunnels. Mask in my pocket. I probably should be looking to replace some of my resistances here that are super overcapped. I got that extra 11 from the blessing. Any judgment spoilers, leaks, stories, fables, or completely detailed information to give away today? There's a bug in the released version of Judgment that's causing it to do insanely less damage than it's supposed to. That we found recently for the AoE effect that sticks around at the end, which does almost 0 damage right now compared to what it's supposed to do. So we just fixed that. It's getting a few other changes, some usability changes, I want to say. But it's not getting its full rework. Paladin's going to be a focus of next patch. 8.4 will be Paladin's time to shine. It'll get a new skill. It'll get some rework skills at that point too. Judgment being a heavy focus of that. Judgment's getting a few other changes now. What, Reimer? It will. They both will, won't they? I might be wrong about this actually. I thought we were doing Druid and Paladin. Am I just wrong? You guys can work on Druid, I'll work on Paladin. We can do more than one thing in the patch, huh? You guys rock. Thank you, Master Sword 1291. You rock as well. Glad to have you with us in the stream.
The almighty wrath.
Yes, rain your gold down upon me. Let's get a trail of enemies and pop pop pop. Yes, work that AOE. A couple things to look at here. Like damned on hit. I don't really hit things though. Woo! And we're gonna learn the same lesson like 8 times in a row this stream. Don't take your hand off the keyboard. This avalanche is just pummeling. Maybe. Deadly if not damaged recently. That won't be a problem. Pop, pop. My archers are dying. Have minions been changed? They seem like so useful. Yes. Last patch. Ooh, got a golden arena key. What? Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll pop into the arena. There was a pretty big minion AI update. Still being worked on, still being updated more. I don't do any minion lightning damage. Never heard of this game, just picked it up on the Steam sale. Glad I did, loving the game. Awesome, that's what we like to hear. Glad you're having fun. I'm also having fun. I started to really look forward to I was always looking forward to them, but I really enjoy these streams. Getting to hang out with you guys, getting to just play the game. Ton of fun. For a while there, it was definitely missing being able to play as much as I'd like to. And this really scratches that itch for me, which is nice. Chatterboxy, 2 questions. 1, what system mechanics you guys founded as inspirations from similar games? That's a tough one. That's a big question. Okay, let's see 2. What you think is Last Epoch's strengths over other games? Okay, I'll start with the second one because I think it's a little bit easier. I think one of our biggest strengths is well, just our skill system. Just having the amount of customization available for each skill, not only from a gameplay perspective, but also from a design perspective. So the system that that references the most is generally Path of Exile's the skill gems. So you can like have support skill gems that affect them. Now the support skill gems have to work in every combination with every skill. So there's a little bit less freedom in what you can put in them from a design perspective. So like the GGG team has to pay attention to like, okay, if there's like an ice bolt and a fireball and they both get more projectiles, how does that interact? Whereas we can put maybe that extra projectiles is way more powerful on an ice bolt style skill than a fireball style skill, so we can put a downside on the ice bolt version of it in the tree. So we can design each node to work specifically with that tree. And I think it's in the same vein as that is class locking stuff as well. So we can design specific items that are class locked, specific like just nodes, passives, everything that can be specific to one class individually. So I think that's a design strength we have, and a gameplay strength as well, because it does let each class feel more unique. And then, what was the other question? What systems mechanics you found as inspirations from similar games? Yeah, so there's it's hard to really nail one down, because like all of us, we just play so many RPGs that the entire game is pretty heavily influenced by our experiences playing those games, and not just RPGs. So every other game under the sun, all the way down to like racing games. I'm sure there's things we've taken from playing those games even. So picking a specific mechanic that was directly influenced by another game heavily. I don't have a good example off the top of my head, I'm sorry. Like we really try to, when we're designing systems, we do like once we've got a system that's we like where it is, we do sometimes take a moment to look at how similar or different it is from other things that are out there, but we really try to kind of keep our heads down, so to speak, when we're designing systems, so that they're not like, okay, how do they do it? Let's do something that's a twist on it or something like that. It's much more of a, this is what we have, and this is what we want to achieve with the next system. How do we work that in? How do we incorporate that? And we try and go from scratch always. But like I said, just the games you play influence the games you design. Oh, here's one. I've got it. The game guide. The game guide was inspired very heavily by Civilization, the Civilopedia from that, which is, I mean, it's basically Wikipedia, really. So I guess it was inspired by Wikipedia. But the system where there's links that take you to other pages, that was very that's I played a ton of Civ, and that's sort of where that style came from. Got it. I got there. Nailed it. What's the intention of the, I'm going to say Omnithology node in Stormcrow, +2 int per crow, and Primalists don't really use int. There are situations where they can. There is a unique relic that gives you, I think it's a relic now, it might be a sword. There's a unique that gives you a bunch of extra bonuses if you have both your attunement and your intelligence at the same number. And there's also some items that scale off intelligence, some secondary skills that scale off intelligence. So it's a way to kind of give druids access to, or not druids specifically, but primalists in general, access to int in pretty high numbers if they want it. And there's also some builds in primalists that do focus pretty heavily on ward as well. There's a few niche ward builds there, so sometimes we try and put these nodes. It's a similar answer to the fire tornado question I got asked last week about, like, why is there a fire tornado when there's no fire support? Sometimes we put nodes in that are intentionally really niche, so that they maybe someone really wants to do something a little out there, a little more obscure, and they have that little bit of support to do that, and it might not be quite as powerful as a more on meta build or whatever, because there's like, and more on theme builds, because there's more general support and synergy for it. But it's really cool to try and play. It's one thing that I really like about games like this in general, is finding those weird things that shouldn't really work, but they kind of do. The big example of that, which inspired a whole, here's another thing that inspired like a whole mastery class, is just the enchant skill in Diablo 2, which really inspired the Spellblade, which, well, for me it did at least. That's the connection I have to that style of gameplay, that melee mage type class. Nobilios asks, Did you see what the German LE community is doing with small challenges, playing specific skill for a week to see how far you can get, and ranking at the end based on arena waves? Yes, I actually saw a post on Reddit, I think, maybe our forums. I don't remember which one I was reading at the time. This morning I was reading it about there's a primalist race. You have to have Wolf, Sabretooth, or Eterra's Blessing on your bar, and you can't use Spriggan form or Druid, or Bear form or Spriggan form, I think is what the race was. I think it's really cool. We've been designing our ladder system to be more compatible with race systems, because that is something we definitely really want to incorporate and support, because like the fact that you guys are doing this already and the game's not even a multiplayer, the game's not even out yet, super cool. And so that's the sort of stuff that we really love to see in the community and want to encourage. Really cool. I feel like there's also possibly an event happening that we're providing prize for and some cosmetic coins? Question mark? I'm not really involved with that directly, so I don't know exactly what it's about, but I feel like I saw something like that. I'm so sorry if we didn't and I just made an obligation. Hi, Total Annihilation. So the racing games you guys play where you got that awesome sneak peek from last year? Oh, the yeah. That was one of our developers in Europe who tossed that together. Oh, it was great. Oh, big question. 0110 bot. I shall call you 6bot. 6bot. To touch back on your off-meta builds response about the weird nodes and some skills, are these builds designed to be just for fun and off-meta or to actually work? What's the point of these nodes if they don't provide support and functionality beyond, hey, that's fun? Are there plans to increase the viability of off-meta builds or builds variety in general to keep fresh meta game grows? Yeah, I think your last line there is really more what it's about. By definition, an off-meta build is never really going to be as competitive as an on-meta build. Like that's what makes it a meta build, is it's really good, right? And I think one thing that contributes to it being an on-meta build is the thematics lining up, because there's just more support in general. Now that's not to say that the only builds that will ever be really strong are thematic builds or things like that, because that's not the intention. There's a long way to go in the tools that will be available to you long term. So we plan on adding new uniques all the time. Every major patch at post release, we plan on adding new mechanics, new features, new uniques, new skills. Maybe not every single patch for all these things, but you know, like these are all things that are on the radar for stuff that will be added. And so maybe a skill or an ability we add as a, hey, that's neat, and then 6 months, 2 years, 5 years later, some weird item gets tossed into the game, and maybe we don't even realize that it has the interaction, or suddenly makes this skill really powerful or something like that. And I think that the key thing is, from what you said, is increasing the viability or build variety in general. And that's something that we do try and do all the time. We look for builds that are maybe something that we want to work and is underperforming, maybe something that is dramatically overperforming, and that's the definition of balancing your game, really. It's just getting more things to be viable because they're balanced with each other. And the goal is not necessarily perfect balance, but to keep things closer to each other. So yes, increasing build variety in general is something we're very interested in. Kind of want to try and pop that. Here, let's flip this real quick. I don't care about that physical damage. Why are the tooltips? Tooltips don't show up for these. Oh my goodness. I'm sure someone reported that a while ago. We're trying to remove one thing here. Removal? Yeah, random affix. Cool. Physical damage. Nice. Okay, so we just got a T5 in to start on this. Stability, I think. No, we want Guardian at this point. We're gonna put minion damage. Boom, all the way up. What do we have on ours now? What are we losing by putting something like this on? Void res, physical res, we're dropping. Okay, so what's our... Void is overcapped by not enough, so we're gonna need some void res on there. And our physical res is overcapped by almost the exact amount, so that's fine. So we'll put some void res on. You know what? We're gonna wear it. I don't care. We're gonna wear it. Yeah, that's not what we want at all. I'm the only person to ever get your name right? Really? Yes! I was saying that as a bit of a joke. So for anyone that missed it, I called 0110 bot 6 bot because in binary 0110 is 6. So it's if you like hold your, I guess it's gonna be mirrored, so I'll use this hand and do it backwards for you, I think. Is it mirrored? Yeah, it's mirrored. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 4, this is 8, this is 16. And so you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Will there ever be gender selection for classes? Character customization in general is something that I do want, that we do, I shouldn't say we are interested in doing. It's not something that we're planning on doing for 1.0 because it's just too big of a feature for us to get in the game before launch. But eventually we'd like to. We always joke, not really a joke I guess, but we always talk about how 1.0 is not the end of our development, it's really the beginning of a new phase of development. That ain't a joke, yeah. It is possible in future to put all minion masters in one class. No. I assume what you're asking is, like, can we ever have wolves on necromancers? No. I shouldn't say never. Extremely unlikely. Maybe years from now, if there's some sort of wacky, I don't know how that would even work, but some sort of crazy cycle that shuffled the skills or something like that. There are some cool mods for other games that do that though. There's like a WoW randomizer that you just get like a random skill when you level up. That is pretty cool. Maybe someone will make a mod like that in a few years. What is the AFSB charity goal all about, and how do you participate? Great question. Happy to answer. It is for, I'm going to flip my face back to the side. The logo's right here. It's for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So it's just anytime someone, so this up here above my head is a sub goal. So every time someone subscribes to the channel, that goes up a little bit, or by one. And so every month we pick a charity, and this is our charity for the month. And our goal is 100 subs per month for the charity. Any money that comes in from the channel at all goes to whatever our current charity goal is. So if that's, thank you very much. We've got Samosa with a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much. Yes, so that's the money from that goes to them. That's how it works. Any bits, any cheers, any donations, all of it. Seamoose A. Oh, it doesn't capitalize it in the it's way easier to read in chat. Sorry. It's all lowercase in the thing that I have. It just shows all lowercase names. I'm learning. I gotta sometimes look at there, and we've got another one from. We got a ton more here. So Green Gems O'Malley. I'm assuming that's what it is. Is got another sub, and then we've got a whole bunch of gifted subs from Dogdrin. Gifted. That's 5 subs. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Tons of people coming in here. Alright, hello. Have a good stream. Thank you. Can I ask, will I be banned if I use still autocast with num keyboard trick? No, you will not be banned for doing that. I personally am not a huge fan of that style of thing, but we do not ban people for using a numlock trick. Yeah. There's a post which we should probably have a link to quickly. I'm sure someone could find it if you really want on the forums that goes into a little bit more specifics on what sorts of things are okay and what sorts of things are not. But the short version is anything that is responding to the state of the game is not okay. So anything that's like that tries to order skills in a certain way, or tries to like move the character, or like tries to check for if you're stunned, use this or something like that, or if your health drops too low, use a potion. Like as soon as there's an if check in anything, not okay. And I'm kind of dumbing it down, so please refer to the post for specifics. If you're unsure, err on the side of caution and ask first. But basically just the numlock trick's the only thing that's okay. Yeah, we are working to reduce the desire to use that trick as well. Boots were those? Oh yeah. Wrong class for them. It's a cool one though. Did I miss something? 6bot, time travel eventually will get flying cars and laser guns. Yeah, this is an interesting question. So, I mean, just guns in general, right? Maybe? Tons of new stuff here. Okay, I'm missing stuff. We've got, Jezier. I thought these were still from the gift sub, but it's not. Jezier has subscribed with a T1 sub. Thank you very much. We've also got Sticky Fingers has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Yakarv has subscribed to Twitch Prime, and 6bot also with a T1 sub. Thank you very much, guys. That's fantastic. I really appreciate it, guys. It's cool. This is the first time I've really done any sort of like larger, I guess that counts too. Like the third or fourth time I've done, I guess, larger charity stuff like this, and it's really cool. I don't know, it's neat. I like it. Glad we were doing it. Can't remember whose idea it was. I think it was Alex's. Good idea, whoever it was. We got more stuff coming in. Bodge Z, Twitch Prime sub, and Viral Downfall, Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much, guys. You are all much appreciated. Artoran PA, you're welcome for the answer. I don't remember which question it was, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, hot, 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 hot. So, all those voice clips. I always forget that they're there as an option. They always come out of nowhere for me. They just get me. I don't know why. And we got another Twitch Prime sub from Yvar69. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask my question again. If you ping me, I will be much more likely to see it, so I'm sorry I didn't see it the first time. Down the line, will you guys be differentiating the differences between different types of damage more? Right now, every affix provide damage is the same amount. The range, each affix is flat for the same amount. Okay, so you're talking like in, I guess an example would be, so like, you use Diablo 2 as an example. Whenever you see lightning damage, it would always be like 1 to 50 damage. So there's always this like really wide range and extreme damage swings, that sort of stuff. And then you'd see like cold, and it was always a really tiny damage range. And the short answer is, I guess, we try to get that same sort of feel through secondary effects a little bit more. So like, I guess the easy differentiation here is to look at Lightning Blast and Fireball. Fireball, you see more of a spread and like explosions on location, and then dots afterwards with burn. With Lightning Blast, you see a lot more of chaining and a lot more crit nodes to try and emulate that high damage burst spikes things. So we do try and get those similar feelings for different damage types in the trees through different ways. But yeah, that is something that we do try and work on. We are trying to work to make that even more extreme. Because yeah, having those fantasy themings is really important to us. And we've got Shinji QQ. Are you standing while playing? It seems like the beep. Yes, I am standing. Whoop, 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 whoop. You can see my chair behind me. I sit sometimes. It's fantastic. If you have not tried standing desks yet, and you sit at your computer for long periods of time, I highly recommend trying out standing. You can get little, if you use a laptop or something, there's like really easy little things just go on your desk that like lift up the laptop. Getting a full-on standing desk is a daunting thing. It took me months to find the one that I wanted, and another several months to actually get it to ship from 100 kilometers away. Really frustrating. But now that I've got it, I love it. Love it. Do you like where Critical Strike Avoidance as a stat is right now? It feels like you either have 100% or don't bother, and often need the blessing. I would personally like more of a less damage taken from critical strikes to be generally available, or maybe lower value. Yeah, I think that's not a terrible assessment. I think it's a pretty good assessment of the general state of things right now. So we do intentionally make defenses and offenses in where some of them are really good to get all or nothing, and some of them are really good to dabble in. So that's a really intentional interaction that we have, where some defenses are spiky and some are not. I guess is the best way to put it. I think I do like Critical Strike Avoidance where it is, because it is one of those. Yeah. We got all sorts of stuff. We've got emotes are being delivered to supporters from Hype Train. Booyah. Sweet. Learning all sorts of new things. Sunfish. Hi. Question here. Many note on the skill trees has downside of effects. Why is that a thing? Like you bleed on hits, but you also bleed yourself. You just make a cancer skill. No thanks. Yeah. So the we are trying to add less and less downsides in. Certain I don't know how to say this properly. The downsides themselves, I think, create a really interesting build opportunity where you can take it, being able to mitigate a downside to take advantage of a very high power upside. I think is an interesting puzzle to solve. So there's like a there's really easy versions of it. So like for example, there's I guess I'm going to use an example from another game. So there's a node that says, and we've got another sub, Dogdrin Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. So say there's an example where you got a node that says you can't miss, but you can't crit. And we don't really have miss, but say let's say you can't be dodged, and you can't crit. The way you work around that, like the downside of you can't crit's pretty big, and the way you work around that downside is you just don't care about it. You just don't put anything into it. You put your damage into mostly maybe applying dots, maybe you're doing like a dots on hits type thing, and so we try to give the downsides we're adding to skills that we're still adding now, which we still are adding some, less than we used to, I think. The ones we do add, we try and add them in such a way that they can be built around. So it's more like a puzzle to solve than a downside to lament. Is the goal with them, at least. And sometimes on the surface that's not obvious right away, which is unfortunate. I think we do put those... We try and put more complex nodes, more complex trees in general, deeper in the classes. So quite often when we're looking at like even a base skill, we'll say like, how complex is this base skill relative to where it is in the trees. So, for example, Death Seal is a very complex base skill with a really complex tree. But you have to get to, like, I guess Lich 30, it's like probably level 40 where it actually kicks in at the earliest. And so you need to have, you've already done more than half the storyline. And you've probably got a pretty good understanding on how things are going to work together before you see that. And like, you look at like the first skill you get, the second skill you get. These are all pretty straightforward skills. Yeah. I think I missed the question. Oh, it was just I had a standing desk for 7 years and never used the standing feature anymore as it's a hand crank version. Might be time to upgrade. Yeah, this one's nice. It does, oh yeah, and of course I did that while I have a support on here to make it not wobble as much. And I just crushed that, and that's why it didn't like that. So good at this, guys. Don't even worry. Minions are just taking care of it for me. Just gonna... Please stand by. You're experiencing technical difficulties, and will return momentarily. Got it. Haha. Ka-ching. Is the difficulty being looked into all the time, as leveling before reaching empowered monoliths does not really pose much challenge. And regular monoliths feels like a leveling area while rushing to unlock empowered. And is there any further content past monoliths in the works? There's content alongside monoliths in the works. There's content alongside leveling that's in the works. there's extension to the storyline in the works, definitely. And we do look at difficulty. I mean, right now in our test build, there's an area that I can guarantee is difficult for you. It'll get toned down before the next patch launches, but yes, we will be looking at difficulty frequently. Sometimes I think that the difficulty changes, like we get questions like this every once in a while where it's like, oh my god, it's so easy, or oh my god, it's so hard. And I think that distinction, a lot of it actually comes from the balance of skills themselves, not the difficulty of the game. Well, I mean, I guess the balance of skills is the difficulty of the game, but it's not like how hard the enemies are, it's more how good each build is to level with, I think. And we do spend more time looking at the balance of builds in later game, like when you have access to anything context, just because that's where it becomes a lot more, I guess, chances of things getting really far out of control. Yeah. I think having more opportunities to jump ahead, maybe complete the storyline faster or level a little bit quicker by taking risks would be a useful tool in our game here.
Feel my wrath.
Yeah. Don't know what that looks like. Darksa333, Mike, baby, I saw on OnlyFans during, oh my goodness, Greenland Amish class and has advised you to act like there is no Amish class. If you can confirm it's coming, please itch stroke your beard once. This is the problem. Now if my beard gets itchy, I'm gonna like just be struggling so hard. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's very itchy. Can't prove I didn't scratch my beard. Or that I did, sorry. When leagues get added, even now, is there any way that there will be a way to skip the story on a second character, or will be forced to do it every time like PoE? The current plan for launch is similar to PoE style, where it is do the story each time. This is a question we get asked medium frequently. We are looking at it. There are certain things we are planning on adding. To make the storyline leveling experience a little bit less linear. Still very early development on that, and who knows if it'll make it in pre-launch. But it is stuff that we're looking at, and do know that some people really don't like that style. I think the really important thing to note is that whatever the alternate system is, as long as it's not like just way better, you know. And then there's also issues of, and I say better, I mean like way faster, I guess. Then there's also issues of like you've got, how does it work in multiplayer with a party? You know, like if your party leaders already finished the storyline once, can they drag you into the alternate leveling system with a brand new character? And maybe there's someone who you're like, hey, Joey, I'm gonna show you this new game. It's great. Hop in. I'll power level you. And they just miss the entire campaign. And there's a lot of teaching moments that we have in the campaign that are designed very specifically to introduce mechanics, to prepare you for later in the game. Sometimes they are just scenarios that we think will help later in the game, and just introducing your character and your character's abilities gradually does really help. So there's considerations there on how it's going to work that might not be really obvious at first glance, but we're looking at all of them. Oh, got some questions here. Good, good, good. A lot of people ask me if we're going to have Last Epoch localization, translation, dubbing, etc. I searched the forum and saw that we won't have. The question is why. I'm from Brazil. Okay, so the we are planning on localizing the game. I don't know where you saw that we're not doing that at all. We are. How quickly that happens and what locations that happens with initially, I don't have details on yet. So it is possible that in Brazil it doesn't get localized immediately. And I say possibly because I don't know when it's gonna. No one really knows exactly which locations are getting localized first and when that's gonna happen. So if someone has told you they know, they're wrong. They don't know. They might be right by fluke, but they don't know. Sorry. Yeah. We do want to. We do want everyone to be able to play in their native language. That would be great. It's a lot of time investment for us to do that. And so we do have to be a little bit strategic on how quickly we do that, where we do that, the first places we tackle that in. Yeah. But we're working on it for you. Don't worry, bud. LV Haxor. Now I'm like trying to read into every name. I'm like, is that like Roman numerals? LV Haxor? Huh? You should buff all the bosses through the campaign. It's not fun when bosses don't do enough damage to hurt you. Even D2, you can die from normal act bosses if you're not super gear or careful to cheese them or learn what to do versus them. I would probably agree with that, I think. I love that feeling. You maybe like you come back to Diablo 2. I know I keep using Diablo 2 as examples, but you haven't played Diablo 2 before or not in a long time. You have a party going through Act 1. Right from normal to the start, and you get to Andy for the first time, and you're like, you're feeling great, you're crushing through everything, and it's no big deal. You get to Andy, and she's just like, one tiny little poison bolt hits you from across the screen, and your health just evaporates. And you're stuck there at 1 health, going, oh my god, what do I do? And then you wander near a little piece of fire on the ground, and just pop 1 damage, and you die. And you're like, great. And then you go back to the drawing board, and you realize maybe not so quickly that you need to take with you a bajillion antidote potions, because secretly they increase your poison resistance. Fun fact. And, yeah. So yeah, I think our bosses could use some damage buffing specifically. It's tricky because it kind of sucks to die, but it sucks to never think you're gonna die either. So like, I'd say in a perfect leveling feeling, you'd almost die like 80 times, and like that's the sort of thing that we like to try and cultivate, is that like you almost died. Because that's a cool feeling of like, oh, I just barely escaped it, or just like I just barely succeeded. Or maybe you die once and you succeed the second time and it's just barely. Like those are the times where you're like, it's really cool, I think. All right, where are we at here? Sorry if I'm taking too long to answer some of these. I'm doing okay. After leveling 4 tunes to 65 plus, I can confidently say I'm not a fan of being forced to the story over and over again. This is personal preference. It's not one of the things that I really dislike, and it is one of the things that I really dislike about PoE. Yeah, it's an interesting problem that's not overly easy to solve. And I'm sure PoE gets the same feedback very frequently. You know? And especially if we're basing things around like league restarts, where like you are doing this at least once a season, having to start that way. So who knows exactly how it'll be solved, but yeah, I got your name right. Awesome. Glad to hear it. I'm crushing it in some cases. Hey, I have been loving the game, and the latest big update has improved the game so much. Thank you. Any news for the big multiplayer update? Is the development going according to your schedule, or is it falling a bit behind? I'm just so pumped about it, even though I know it won't happen anytime soon. Yeah, it's there's a lot that goes into making multiplayer. I personally am not an experienced multiplayer developer, which is why we have people working with us that are experienced multiplayer developers that are doing awesome stuff with it. It is coming along really good. I mean, like, so I said earlier, I was on the multiplayer branch by mistake right before the stream and had to switch back. I know every time I get done testing it out, there's a giant grin on my face. Dan, if you're watching, been driving a tight ship on that one, and I love it. It is still a little ways out, and we're working so hard to bring it to you guys. It is far and above the #1 thing that we work on every day, and it's made humongous strides from where it was. Like, there's like a little bit in the Kickstarter video. I mentioned this last week, I think, too. That there's actually multiplayer footage in the Kickstarter video. You wanna trip down memory lane for us? Go check that out. Oh my goodness, it looks awful. But there is multiplayer in there. And that's multiplayer that like none of that is being used anymore. Which really should not come to anyone's surprise by anyone, because it is janky as. I don't have a timeline for you on it, though. I'm sorry. Which I know is really what most people want to hear, is when. And when I would love to be able to tell you, I can't. I'm sure you can sell a lot if you localize here. Thank you for the answer. You're welcome. Yeah, it's I mean, we want to have it available for everyone, really. Interesting mechanics, raw damage output. Not sure what that means. Sorry. Please feel free to elaborate, and I will try and have a discussion with you about it. Haha. Are there skills builds you currently consider OP, or are you happy with the balance on the higher end? There's a few that I would say are a little bit outliers. Yeah. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of. I love the idea behind it, but I don't like what's happened to it. The Earthquake Werebear. That's the big outlier I would point at right now. Not necessarily OP, because I could be wrong. I don't think it's just topping every ladder, really. We can take a peek. We can go look and see what's actually topping the ladders. Let's take a look. What's the most OP build out there? So we got top 3 Forge Guard, Druid, Necromancer. And the fact that the top 3 are all different, that's a great sign. I think the biggest problem right now is that the arena turns into a bit of a war of attrition for like just energy. How long? What's your endurance level? How long can your computer stay on for? You know. A Blade Dancer, Druid, Necromancer, Druid, Necromancer. Yeah, so it looks like there's a fair few of that EQ Warbear. You heard me. Earthquake Werebear build near the top. Ooh. Just standing in the fire, letting all my minions die. No big deal. Yeah, oh, there's the Revenant. Revenant, where's your... Yeah, there it is. There's the Revenant, Okay, stay there. Yeah, there's the bug I was talking about. Little speech bubble on the Revenant. But saying you're crushing it, in some cases, is going to sting for a while. I think I missed something. Sorry. Could there be low-level monoliths and flag that doesn't unlock them until you complete game once? Yeah, like that is an option for a like speed through type thing, or like you have to unlock the story. This is stuff we've talked about, like having to unlock the end of time. And once you unlock the end of time, you can have a level scaled monolith for the start of it. I personally am not a huge fan of that idea. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's not my favorite. I head this is where the Amish class party is. You head correctly. Are there voice actor credits anywhere available? I'm 90% sure I've heard the rogue's voice before, and it really bothers me that I can't quite place it. I'd be pretty surprised if you've heard their voice before, because I know who it is, and I would be shocked if you've heard their voice before. Yeah. Sorry for more frivolous question that you might be out of your domain, and thanks if you do read this. Happy to get questions that are all sorts of weird and off the wall, no problem whatsoever. I don't think we have credits for them in the game yet. I can see that being something we add, but yeah, I'd be really shocked if you've heard their voice before. And maybe you have, maybe you know them. They've not worked in voice acting in something you've heard before, I can tell you that. Or regular acting, for that matter. Minions build always fun. I love minion builds. Like, I don't know. I always had to play. I always love minion builds in D2, and I always had to play a more like I played Poison Nova a lot, but you still get like 1 point and everything, and all your plus all skills. You still have like an army of 20 minions. But this was back when like you call them Lagomancers instead of Necromancers, because like everyone's internet connection was so crap. You're like, oh my god, he's got a T1 line, it's amazing. And everyone else is like, I got 56k now, hooray! And everyone under the age of 30 just said, what's that? Love the game, but doesn't have 100 doors to open on each map. If you really want them, I could make one for you. We have doors. They just, some of them open automatically, some of them open with, like, damage, I think. But yeah, the door boss. Door boss, tough boss. I am, taking some lumps here, though, I tell you what. Sure, get all over here. Pop one of these up. That worked pretty well. Happy with those results. Got a Twitch Prime sub from SG048. Welcome, thank you very much. Alright, where were we? Yeah, I'm not asking when it'll be here. I know it's hard to say thanks for the answer. You're welcome. I think that was about the multiplayer question. I think. Next one. You know the ladder can't be looked at, my man. EQ wherever is freaking OP. Yeah, it is. The ladder's not a terrible tool for getting a general gist of the climate. But we don't, just for the record, we don't use the ladder exclusively when we're balancing things. We don't go like, oh, what's on top of the ladder? Nerf, nerf, nerf. That's really not what happens. I just want to be super clear on that. Sometimes we will look at the ladder and say, what is not there at all? And look for to buff those things. That's something we do. And we do look at it objectively as well. We don't just, if something's not there at all, we don't just buff it across the board. Yeah. It's a small piece of the tools we use for balancing. Are you planning on adding more variety of quest missions in the Monolith? Yes. It looks like there's a lot of quests consisting of going from point A to point B to kill elites and bosses. Yeah, there's a lot of those for sure. It's there's a lot of really good ideas that get brought up really frequently. There's a very strict review process that goes into checking to see if those are going to make it into the game and actually be like good and healthy for the game. So it's really hard to get things past the balance boss. On the topic of the ladder, are you guys thinking of adding anything else for competitive players? Oh yeah, or is it a bit too early right now? Nope. Well, we're not doing it just yet, but yes, we're planning on adding them. You just hit the nail on the head. Late game arena is grueling, and there's a few different ways to show off in an RPG. Absolutely, I think that the one of the, like, a cool thing could be like a new ladder that could show up is corruption for Shade of Orbis kills. So like all it would track is just, okay, you killed Shade of Orbis at 4,000 corruption. Oh, you killed Shade of Orbis at 20 corruption. Like that would just be the ladder. Like what corruption was he at when you killed him? That's it. And that's a really tricky one because some of the shades are a lot harder than others based on what abilities you roll. So I could see it being a little bit frustrating, a little bit of RNG in there because of that boss fight being the thing that would be ranking it. But at the same time, I think it would be a pretty good gauge of how strong a build is. Because not only would you have to be able to kill the shade at that corruption, you'd have to complete Monoliths to get up to that level as well. So there's a lot that goes into it. I think it would prove fairly well-rounded builds. It would probably favor boss killing builds more, which is fine. Like I think having different builds be good at different ladders is really important and healthy. All right. Amish class win. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's already in. Maybe it's a secret. You gotta unlock it. Find out how next time on. No. Dire Penguin, but is EQ Werebear OP or only because of the one item? Seems like it could be toned down with something as simple as a cooldown on the free EQ from the mace, or reducing the plus damage granted from the item. I don't think there's need to go overboard like with Shadow Dagger's effect mods and make it basically unplayable. I think that, yeah, I think I agree, and you will see a change like that happening next patch. The goal is to keep it playable and keep it fun, because that is a intentional interaction. Like we absolutely knew that Earthquake Werebear was gonna be a thing when we made the item. Maybe it was a little bit more of a thing than we expected, but we knew it was gonna be a thing. Because I remember talking about it in a design meeting and being like, "Are we worried about this? Like, what's gonna happen?" The whole Werebear skill is also getting a pretty big overhaul, so there's some pretty big changes coming from that side as well. So we're taking a and that will affect the interactions for. That's a lot of arena ones in a row. I'm just playing the arena. Who knew? There are a lot of interactions that come from the skill tree itself that will change when the skill tree changes as well. So EQ Werebear is going to get two pretty big changes, and I think that the second one will be more interesting than the first one. But I do want to make it clear that we're not trying to remove that as a build from the game, because we do think it's cool. Something like Grim Dawn mandates reach level 100 NCA, buy it for 10 mil gold, speeds up experience gain by... Yeah, and... Oh. As long as it's a secondary character thing, like your second character gets to do something, it's a totally different story than just having it available everywhere. But it does get affected by what I was talking about earlier with the, like playing with your friends and having that be available for, like not having a scenario where it's like, oh, come do this with me. Oh, I can't because I haven't beat the game once yet. That's kind of a not awesome feeling, you know? I think it would be better if we could just make the leveling process feel more fun and interesting, and more dynamic. I think the community has clearly expressed the need for the... Oh! Oh, you see what you did? You got me killed. Oh, it's totally your fault. Just kidding. That's okay. Yeah, grumble, grumble, grumble. Do kind of want that relic one and that relic one. Let's go back here and do this and grab some relic stuff. How far behind am I? Oh, I am falling behind here, guys. I apologize. When were we going to see the last Epoch Stone a Jordan style ring? I actually pitched something pretty similar to that recently. Why are we here? I didn't have a net for a few days, and I'm grateful Steam has offline mode. I went to try and play LE and couldn't play. It was pretty upsetting. No other players would love to have an offline mode in case something like this happens, or some people work offshore, etc. Would love to be able to play. They don't have a steady net or any net at all. Yes, when it goes live with multiplayer, we will have an offline mode, or by the time launch happens, we'll have an offline mode at least. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, but we do plan to have that. Two-handed rogue isn't anywhere near the ladder. It needs a buff. Oh, totally, llama. Not sarcastically, for the record. If a serious note, after watching Tribes of Midgard, I think it would be amazing to add a survival mode, even add housing by crafting. I think survival crafting is going to be huge. The SARPG is the next big genre. It's a pretty big shift, maybe in a patch a long time down the road. Are you planning on adding more buff icons? Yes, we are. We try and add ones that are important and have meaning instead of ones that just happen every time and don't change what you're going to do. That's not always the case, and we are working to improve them. I do have a very long list of ones to add. Each one is added manually. Yeah. If it's not an ailment, it's added manually. Ailments get auto-added. Well, you do technically have to add it manually, but it's really easy for ailments. Currently, to my knowledge, the only ground effect is poison from a couple monsters. No. What is your team's stance on adding some more? Even though this is one of the things PoE has big issues with and still has some, it makes some interesting gameplay when done the right way. Or maybe not ground effect, but something similar like more zoning, zone restriction spells and effects, not talking about bosses, but more regular monsters. There's a lot more things that have ground AoE effects than just poison. Personally, I do actually like them. I think that the, like for example, the effects in Diablo 3 with the the rare enemy effect where it creates the I think it's frozen or frigid, or I don't know what the actual effect is called, but it creates those little ice crystals that get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and then explode all at once and freeze things that are in it. Things like that I think are interesting and actually change the battlefield and how you play in that space. So I do personally like those. I'm not saying we're going to specifically have exactly that, but we do have more than just poison effects on the ground, and we will continue to add them. Yeah. Life-size Argentus body pillow when? Hopefully soon, right? Am I right? Yeah, the defenses from Weber also make it a little over the top. Yeah, it's quite strong. What do you think of nerfing skills just to change the meta, even if they're not actually overperforming? I mean, I think that That's a really interesting question. I don't know if I've ever seen that scenario happen. If it is happening, I think it would be for a different mechanical reason. Like, it's, I don't even know how that would happen. Because almost always, meta skills are the ones that perform the most. Meta builds, at least, are the ones that perform the best, usually. And not always, but it's very rare to see the, like, top meta builds in any game not be the ones that are really good. You know? So I don't quite know how to answer the question. I'm sorry. I don't think it's I don't think we would nerf or buff something specifically to change the meta. I don't think that's the intention. Unless the meta was everyone always plays this no matter what. And it's just like you look at the meta and you're like, okay, well there's 95% acolytes and 5% everything else shared. And I think that would more come from gameplay feel if it wasn't actually power. And I think that would speak more to the other ones not feeling well. I guess as I'm thinking about this, likely the problem in that scenario is that the other things are feeling bad to play. And we would have to fix that problem, because that's the actual problem. Sorry, that was a weird question. I'm sorry. I tried to answer as best I could. You'll be hearing from the ACA. They feel misrepresented. Also known as the best internet offline mode when. Yep, it's we do want to have a full offline mode. But for now, it is, at least you gotta log in. Thank you, that makes so many people happy. You guys, thank you for answering. You're welcome. I'm not sure which question that was. I think that was the offline question. Can we get a set that the community helps design through some forum posts with votes? I mean, we've used ideas from forum posts before to make items. Don't ask me for example. I don't have one. I'm sorry. The problem with votes in this, in something like an official forum voting, polling, and something like that, is the mechanics have to be something we can do, and there's a lot of great ideas I've seen come across the design meetings where we're just like, we'd love to, we cannot do that. And sometimes it's for like, just we don't have the technology to do it. Sometimes it would cause major problems with all sorts of things, and so we have to be really careful with opening something up like that so wide. I guess technically there's already been a set that was designed by the community, by one person in the community, really. And even that was tough to do, because there's sets especially there's a lot more that goes into sets than uniques. Yeah, that would be a really cool thing to do. I'd love to do it. I don't see how it would really work apart from just getting like a core feeling for the set. Oh, good golly, Miss Molly. Someone clip that and tell me what my health went to. I feel like it was 2 digits. Also, I figured out where that whole ass thing came from. Like, I knew I didn't make that up. There's an episode of Parks and Rec. I haven't seen it in years. I have no idea where. It's just buried in the back of my brain, apparently. And Ron's sitting on the dock, and he's like, never half-ass 2 things. Whole-ass 1 thing. Sorry. I don't know where that came from this time. Deep breath, deep breath. All right. The button that opens the map, the one next to display hide quest minimap, mid combat. Yeah, this button. Yeah. Great button, right? Maybe like right click it and put a little lock icon on it or something. I don't know. You'd have to have a way to like fairly quickly undo it. I can't remember what I was talking to someone about that the other day actually. But yeah, I see the problem there. Any chance of allowing minions to loot gold? No. No. The only thing that I could see possibly adding is a minion whose job it is to go pick up gold, similar to like Diablo 3. But it would have to be accessible to everyone. And the reason why I just said no right away was because not every class has minions, and suddenly that would shift the meta completely to minions. I guess there's a good example of something that would cause that scenario we were talking about earlier to happen, where something is really overrepresented, but it's not actually OP. And I think that would be the type of thing it is, where it's like, if your minions could go pick up gear for you, but minion builds really aren't that strong, people would play them just because it's really easy to get everything. So will there be fishing in the game? Maybe. Is it going well for EHG? Which I really hope it is. Do we have to worry about the game being dropped and discontinued? I know it might be a difficult question to answer. No, we're doing good. I have no fears whatsoever that this game will come out and not be dropped. Part of that is, like, we've said it many times, like, the guys, especially the guys, when we started this, none of us were making any money on it at all. It was just a hobby project. And we make it because we love it, not because it's for, like, we make this game because we want this game. And period. That's it. And we're going to keep making this game because we're going to keep wanting this game. That simple. I just dread shaded a zombie. Smart. Smart. But yes, EHG's doing fine. I am not afraid of losing my job. At all. And neither should anyone else who works for EHG. Do you planning to add mod support in the game, at least small graphical and or offline only? It's another one of those things where it's like, that would be super cool, and if we can find a way to do it that doesn't disrupt our... wow, we got a... Catch these hands... it's gonna be easier to read here. Oh, it's basically the same. Catch these hands 0 with a tier 3 sub. That's pretty freaking cool. I'll be honest, I super don't know what that actually means, because it's the first T3 sub I think we've had, but that's pretty cool. I assume it's a more awesomer subscription? Thank you very much. Yeah. What was I saying? Mod support. Yeah, it'd be really cool to add mod support. We're definitely not doing it before launch. It won't even be like shortly after launch. I think it's not super high on the priority list, but it is something that we would like to get in, if we can find a way to do it effectively and efficiently. Yeah. Are you guys hiring? I mean, we never are... I don't know if we've ever, like, actively been like, we're hiring for this position right now. I don't think we've ever posted a job position or anything like that, really. We always talk to people who are passionate, skilled people in their fields that can help us out. So if there's something in particular that you think we can really use, we're open to at least talking to you. But we're not specifically hiring any positions at the moment. I don't think. I could be wrong about that. I am the wrong person to talk to about it. What are we doing here? DLLS or FSR support in the future? Yeah. All that sort of stuff is stuff we want to add. Modifying the game engine at this point is not the highest priority thing we do, unless it's going to net us a whole bunch of frames. or unlock a feature for some sort of some piece of development that we really want that don't have yet or something. Getting it to run smoother is more important than getting it to run prettier right now. Because I'm pretty happy with the prettiness. It's pretty pretty, but there are scenarios where people have not fantastic frame experiences, and fixing those is a higher priority. It always sucks to talk to people about it. Like, I feel for people that have those problems so much, because like I look at mine and I'm like, I never have those problems ever. And I'm just like, I don't know what's different. I don't know what I can say to these people to be like, here's how you fix it. This is how it works great on mine. My system is nothing really amazing. It's pretty good, but it's not like, oh my god, really, you got that? It's also like 4 years old. So like, I don't know what the secrets are. But even streaming, I don't. Was one stream 3 weeks ago, I think, that I had some frame drops. T3 sub is like a T7 affix. Got it. Oh, killer then, bud. Killer. Laying it on the line. Way to go. My minions are dying. They're laying it on the line for me right now. Can you add an option to move the buff debuff icons to make them bigger? Maybe. We're really hesitant to add UI modification options for lots of different reasons, really, but so it's low on the list. Not bad. We don't really do much poison stuff. Snatch that one without even looking at it. Okay, I wanted to come back here because I want that one. I want that one. Next map has Wengari Shamans. Pull the entire map if you don't drop frames. I'll do it across. Okay, okay, bring it. Pick all the frames up off the ground right before I go in. I mean, I'm probably dropping frames for certain things here and there. It's not enough that I'm noticing it. And maybe I'm just like one of those people that's like, over 20 frames, good enough. I don't care. I don't. But I wanna. I have been challenged. My honor is at stake. Oh, let's roll up here. Here we go. Has there been any other classes talked about adding in the future besides the English class? Any concept ideas? Yeah, lots. Like, we have so many ideas that float around, guys. It is not even funny. There's every day people just post on the forums. We read them on our development Discord all the time in our development meetings. We have at least 2 dev meetings a week. Or design meetings a week, sorry. And like all sorts of ideas come out of the woodworks. We have talked about future classes, and we've actually intentionally left gaps in the classes that already exist and left out skills that you might be like, why don't they have a skill for this? It's probably because we're planning it in a class in the future. So we've left holes in the in certain classes and in certain masteries to make room for things in the future already. Speaking of upcoming, I don't really have much in the way of spoiler stuff. I'll tease you out one little thing. There's an unannounced skill coming next patch, and I will tease out one of the nodes for that skill. So I'm not gonna tell you what the skill is or what this means even, but we'll give it a go here. So the skill name is the start of it. Is now a combo ability, and the second part causes you to dash to the flag. This effect works even if the flag has been picked up by an enemy. I'll say it again. Skill is now a combo ability, and the second part causes you to dash to the flag. This effect works even if the flag has been picked up by an enemy. The base skill that has this node, I guarantee is not what you expect. It better be purple? It's not purple? Oh, this skill is not purple. This is not the skill that we teased last week. That's a different skill. There will be a full forum post on that skill coming out soon, I think, actually. I'd assume sometime next week. And I'm so sorry if I've just ruined that for someone in the timeline. Where the leak's at? That's the only leak I got for you. Earlier you said you could be adding offline mode. Now there'll be 2 launchers like Warhammer Vermintide 2, where you can connect to play the normal game and a modded version, or will you leave it up to us to add or remove files, or are you not even that far into thought of offline modding? So just to be clear here, the modding considerations that we've made for the game right now are 0. We have not designed any modding systems. As far as we're concerned, for the development for the base game, modding does not exist. And like, this is just because we need to focus on making the base game and getting the base game out. Once we start looking at if we want to add modding support, we'll work on that. But really, it's 0's a lie. It's not really 0. But we don't make decisions because it will make modding easier down the road. Okay, like we're not designing it to be modded from scratch. Just because we need to get the base game out and we need to build the base game, and that's more important to us than building a mod heavy game. And that's not because we don't like modding or anything like that. Modding's fantastic, and the things it has done for many games is nothing short of extraordinary. And like, I would love to see 20 years from now, people still playing Epoch because they've got some modded version of it that's like, that would be wild to see. That would be so cool. I hope the creators of Diablo 2 feel the same way. Because like, I still play modded versions of Diablo 2 and it's awesome. Well, haven't played much in a while, but I was playing Path of Diablo for a while, which is great. As far as the 1 client, 2 client thing, it is, I don't think it'll be 2 clients. I think that would be weird. I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be 1 client, where it'll be like log in to play online or click here to play offline type thing. Mike, from Amish to Mortal, can you show me something secretive that you guys are working on? New skill, new landscape. You know you want to. I don't have anything to show you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will mod in the PoE soundtrack or Mortal Kombat. I'm just saying. I mean, you could just turn the sound off and turn the other sound off. Eek. Okay, we're getting pretty close here to being able to rock some quest stuff. We're also getting pretty close to the end of the stream. I think we're gonna probably wait to do the quest stuff, and we'll hop right into Kill Hero at the start of next stream. I can basically do a Monolith stream right now, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Definitely gonna need to get some crafting on next stream. That's gonna have to happen. I might see if I can like scrounge up some better crafting bases. Like just look through look through the stash and see what I've got. Damage reflection. Pop, pop, pop. Poppity, 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 poppity. Thank you for a good show. Happy to help. Afsb, you're welcome. Thank you for your support. Mike, do the curtains match the drapes? Asking for a friend. Inappropriate. Hello, what's the focus of next patch? There's a few things that we've got. Here we go. Random name X. Random name X just subbed for the memes. 2 months in a row. You're one of our few repeat subs, so pretty awesome. Exclusive club. We haven't been doing subs long enough for many repeat subs though. Where are we? Focus on the next patch. There's a few things. There's a fair bit of new content coming. As far as skills go, I would say there's more of a heavy focus on the Sentinel this patch coming up. He's getting some new skills, some reworks of old skills, lots of stuff there. How much of a priority is game optimization for performance and GPU temperatures? Performance is a big part of everything, really. We frequently work to improve performance all across the board. I wonder what temp my GPU is running at right now, actually. We're not going to look right now. We should. We're right in the stuff here. This tell me. Oh, we're at 72 degrees. It's not bad at all. I mean, if it's not triple digits, it's not even close to overheating, really. Oh, my CPU is icy, though. No problem there. Yeah, optimization is a pretty big priority for sure. Like I was saying earlier, we prefer, if we given the choice between making the game prettier or making it run smoother right now, for like, as if we don't have to sacrifice the other, but just if we were given 2 buttons to press and one of them said everyone gets plus 5 FPS or everyone gets plus 5% nicer looking stuff, we'd probably press the FPS button. Almost for certain we would. And sometimes we can press both. So, for example, we are updating Lightning Blast. You look at last week's stream for this. The VFX on basically every lightning effect in the game. And they're all getting pretty big FPS bumps. And also, I think they look really nice. So, yeah. Happy man to hear about the offline mode. Glad to hear it. How do you prefer we submit bug reports? On the forums, there's a bug report section. That's the best place to do it. That's the bug reports on the forum is the only place that they get regularly and consistently compiled into actual issues that we track. If you post bug reports anywhere else, there's like a 20% chance we'll actually track it. So forums is the place to go. Have you considered a graphics engine other than Unity? It is way too late to switch now. Mike, if you were the CEO of EHG and could do anything you wanted with what you have now, what would you change and what would you add? What are your personal ambitions? I wouldn't change much about the way we're going, really. I'm like heavily involved with a lot of the decisions we make, so I don't feel like my voice is not heard at all. I am it's a very collaborative game design and game development system, so we are nothing. really. Did I just tease a capture the flag mode a few minutes ago? I mean, I did mention actually probably a year ago in some post that we considered it. Can you please use your skill points? My OCD can't handle it. Sorry. Yes. I apologize. I know that can be frustrating. I think we're putting points there. I think we're doing this just for the... Oh, I've already used it all. Yeah, there you go. Just 1 point. Just 1 point. That's all it took. Yeah, just 1 point. The correct answer was clearly appoint Judd as CEO, as he's just too awesome. There you go. Let's go back in time and use that answer. No, Judd's doing a fantastic job. He knows that. I think we can squeak out one more. Let's go for it. Any plans for making leagues like PoE? Oh yeah. We're gonna call them cycles. And they'll be a little different, but they'll be reminiscent, I would say. Ooh, what's this? I mean it's not terrible. I gotta look at my idols. So goals for next stream next week. We're going to get better idols lined up because our idols need to be taken a look at. We're gonna get better gear. Oh, our void res is low, right? Because I pulled off that. That's silly of me. Get some better gear, craft up some better gear, and make our loot filter a little more strict. And what else are we gonna do? Fix our idols. Craft up some new gear. Oh yeah, we're gonna kill Hero. What other games do you play beside this in your free time? That's a good one. Oh, I needed a laugh. Will you try Tribes of Midgard? Also, Undecembered is coming out later this year. Also, Gatewalkers, bit of competition. Yeah, so I do try out as many other ARPGs as we can just to get a feel for what's out there. I don't really have free time. That's why I was chuckling. I love strategy games as well as ARPGs, so there's Old World's a new game coming out that, I think it actually just launched. I want to try it so bad, it looks great. Humankind coming out, want to try that real bad too. Great twists on the Civ formula, 4X. Breath of the Wild 2, I mean, who's not going to play that? Alright, let's answer. We got some questions here. Let's answer these out. Answer these to round out the stream. Do you have any thoughts on support builds within the context of last Epoch? Absolutely. Quality of implementation aside, Diablo 3 and PoE both have their takes on how supports play and exist in their games. Does the dev team have any thoughts on if they want something similar to exist in the game and implementation goals if you do with multiplayer down the line? Yeah, for sure. That's a great question. We do want to have support builds be possible. Certain classes will definitely be better at it than others. For example, Druid and Paladin will probably be the primary two that are like really good at it. That's not to say you won't see other builds being able to do it as well. So I think a good example of this is even something as simple as like a curse on an acolyte, being able to really debuff enemies and make it easier for other people to deal damage to it. Sometimes that doesn't need to necessarily be your making it so that your minions are easier to deal damage to.
No.
But instead, instead it is. Thank you for that, by the way. Instead, it is the totally lost my train of thought. It is you're debuffing enemies for your allies to deal more damage to you. I would consider that a support role. So tank, heals, or just damage augmenting for other people. Is dang, it's hard to talk when that goes off. Apparently, those are something we do want to make possible. Obvious easy things, healing and tanking, are like the two most classic support types, and we are building systems for that to be possible. We don't want it to be.
That's a close one.
We don't want it to be mandatory in a party. We don't want you to have this. That's like we don't want the Holy Trinity to show up. So we don't want you to be like, okay, well, we're going to fight this boss. We need 3 DPS, a tank, and a healer. No, you can if you want. Don't want it to be forced. Can we get more things to find, like maybe gear?
All right,
and
Mike, time to get the whole ass out.
Judd, I know this is you going through them all. I swear. Oh, it's anonymous. Whoever it is, thank you. Gear and chance. I feel like the game is missing something that I hope to find these types of items.
Hot.
Like mirrors from PoE or hirons from D2. Yeah, we share your concerns about this and have plans. Don't worry. Will the leagues be more like D3 where they're temporary, or like PoE where league mechanics get added to the core gameplay? Well, PoE doesn't do that with all of them. I would say they'll be closer to PoE in function, how they're more game-changing. So the D3 league mechanics have been, for the most part, one little thing that sort of affects everything all the time, and PoE tends to be more of a here's a new activity to experience, and I think they'll be more similar to PoE in the here's a new activity to experience vein, and they may or may not get rolled in depending on how it goes. So it'll be closer to PoE than D3, I think, but there's some key differences still that I want to be clear. It's not going to be exactly the same. Will you add in a way to buy a quad tab instead of the normal tab with gold? I don't know what a quad tab is, I'm sorry. We're not going to offer tabs for real money, I'll say that. In-game resources only. Been doing Monolith for a while now. Do you do these echoes just keep going and going like the Energizer Bunny? There is a limit. I don't know what the max depth is, but there's like the distance from the center. So where did this one start? This one started here, actually. Wow, we're probably pretty close to the limit, actually, up this way. But you'll start seeing these resets the echo, adds corruption nodes appearing, and there is a hard ring that goes around the outside edge. So there's a max number of connections or depth from the center point that any node can be. I hope that no free time part was a joke. Please never sacrifice your health for the game. No free time is an exaggeration. I have no free time that I use to play games with outside of work for the most part. I guess there's some. I like spending time with my family. Do the devs, designers, and so on play LE outside of work? Some do. I don't very often. This is the most time I play LE, I think. There's a lot of time spent just like you put something in, you gotta test it, so you hop in. We got Alex Turner resubbed for 2 months. Hey Alex, how's it going? I'm just rounding out some questions here at the end of the chat. We're basically done here. I think I'm gonna finish these ones that I've got already, and that's it. I think it would be wise when doing multiplayer having matchmaking. There's a tethering system where you get more XP and loot if you are close to your teammate. Make an icon if you're untethered. It's an interesting idea. Don't know if we'll do it. Started playing 4.5 days ago. 76 hours played already. It's a lot. And I think Earthquake Druid is fine. No need to look into that one any further. Thank you. Okay, well, he said it was fine, guys, so we're done there. Quad tab is the stash tab that's 4 times the size. Oh, just like scaled down. Yeah, we talked about that actually recently. I can't remember what the reason we're not planning on doing it is, but it could change. Sorry. Maybe. Can we get more bosses in the nodes or make hidden nodes within modifiers? Within the unknown modifiers. Can we get more bosses in the nodes or make hidden nodes with unknown modifiers? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. We are going to wrap up the stream with that. Hope you guys had a great time. I know I did. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful time.